Hi there, welcome to another video from the Vickers MG Collection and Research Association. This time it's one of our mannequin videos again. Our caveat as always though is we're not specialists on the uniform and equipment. We do stylised mannequins for the purpose of displaying some of the Vickers machine gun related items and trying to get across the different way in which different units, different individuals, different machine gunners carried and used the Vickers machine guns. We've got a few mannequins in the collection that help us display some of the uniforms and equipment that went with the Vickers machine gun. They aren't necessarily a specific point in time for a particular unit unless really explicitly said so. In this case though, we're going to be looking at an Australian machine gunner from the Southwest Pacific Theatre the area for really late on in the Second World War. That July, August 1945 period, and also you're considering and perhaps bringing forward some of the items that would see later use in the Korean conflict by the Australians there as well. And there are some items that weren't issued, but we've incorporated them into the collection to try and demonstrate how there was wider thinking about, particularly by the Australians, about how to make carrying their kit easier and making their life easier overall. So what we've got here is looks very American in its look actually, and the first sort of apology almost, certainly when we've shared this mannequin in our wider sort of spans of the room, we've had some comments that have really helped frame the thoughts for this video, but herringbone twill uniform as the base. Now this HBT set is a reproduction United States HBT set, so the Australians apparently produced their own. That's something that I've not come across in the UK for sale, probably something that we'd have to try and source from Australia, and likely to be in the realms of specialist uniform and equipment collectors, so maybe out of the reach of our sort of generic uniform and equipment collection, because we obviously focus on the Vickers. But base here is the American HBTs. You then have 37 pattern webbing, but the Australian variety of that, and we'll, when we take the camera off the stand, we'll look at that in a little bit more detail. And we have the life preserver belt as well, which is an American design and was used by the Australians. We don't have the normal bush hat that the Australians would be using at this point of the war. If you're in the jungle in sort of that Pacific area, there was extensive use of these cotton berets or cotton caps. There is no much more of a beret as a GS cap, so the cotton caps as well, and certainly I think you generally see those without any insignia on at all. What we also have, and we'll take a look at that in a moment, actually the boots and gate anklets there. You can see though, we've got this 37 pattern webbing with these wide shoulder straps. It's an Australian only thing. The ammunition belt is an Australian only thing. So let's take the camera off the stand and have a look in a bit more detail at that kit, and also turn the mannequin around. So let's deal with the web equipment first. As you'll see, these shoulder straps are 3 inch wide across the top of the brace, rather than the 2 inches from a normal. Now that's said to distribute the weight better. This is one of the items that, from what we can see in the photos, didn't actually see service in the Second World War. The examples we've seen are all 1945 dated, but you can see that it would spread the load easier, and ideal for machine gunners, where it perhaps provides some additional protection on the shoulders from carrying the tripod and the gun as well. But that goes down to the pouch, the basic pouch for the Australians, which is bigger than the basic pouch for the British. If we just come over to this one, this one's open. You can see there the DD mark, 1944 dated, Australian made. If we look at a British pouch there, alongside, you can see, you can sort of see that that's different in size. And what we're going to do is just take those Bren mags out. So 2 Bren mags fit into the British pouch, whereas you can see they fit easily into the Australian pouch with a lot of room to spare. So that's just a sort of size, and actually I think they will fit round this way. Is that right? I can't remember now, but there's plenty of room in there for that. And one of the videos we'll do in the future is extend our spare parts video, because these pouches were used extensively or alternatively to the spare parts pouches, spare parts leather cases. The numbers 3, number 4 of a Vickers machine gun section would be wearing these pouches, and that would contain the spare parts for the Vickers in the section. So quite ingenious, but clearly you can see these in some of the photos. They're much bigger than that normal basic pouch, be that the Mark II, Mark III basic pouch. The Australian basic pouch is much wider. It also has different poppers on it as well, so I don't know if those are replacement or those are something of the time. Now these aren't replacement, but they are is certainly a different type there, and you can just see some more markings in there. That one's clearly been issued. It's got some service numbers in there. That's all mounted on the normal 1937 bout. We'll turn around in a minute and you'll see more. But let's take a look further at the anklets and boots. So not the normal web anklets, although they were worn extensively. The American leggings were also worn, and these have been shortened. Now these are American issue. The Australians again did produce their own alongside the American pattern with some minor variations, but these were purchased from Australia actually as shortened examples. So we don't know whether that's shortened at the time or by reenactors or something afterwards. You then have the Australian jungle pattern boot, which is a very heavily cleated boot. I don't know if we can just see under here, it's really heavily cleated. We've got some photos of the underside to pop up as well. Solid boot, generally only ever available on the collector's market in very small sizes. I think these are a size 6, but they're certainly there anyway. So what we'll do is we'll just turn the mannequin round and you'll be able to see on the other side. And you can see here that we've got the braces. There's no loop or anything like that on these braces, like there are on the British, certainly in the early part of the war. And you can see the purple stampings, and I think that's just the DD upside down there. So yeah, coarser webbing as well actually than we'd normally see. But then if we move down, let's focus on the Machete. So this is an Australian pattern Machete. You can see the loop there, and we've got the Machete itself. I don't know if this is stamped or marked. I believe the case is. Can't see it stamped or marked there. Might be missing it. No, but yeah, it's the Australian pattern jungle Machete, which is a bit shorter than the Martindale, the British one, and it's carried in a very American style Machete case like that, on a loop. And then with this popper around the top, which isn't left done up because it generally stretches it a little bit too much. On the other side, probably the most available part of the Australian equipment is actually the 37 baton water bottle, but with the bout clips on it as well, so it doesn't dangle and bash against the side against you as you're moving along. Also makes it a little bit easier to take on and off, or certainly easier to take the bottle in and out. And then notice that 2-inch web strap that differs from the British 1-inch. So the British webbing for the to go around the middle here is just a 1-inch web strap, and the Australian is similar to this, and then the Australian one is 2. But you still have it so it can be worn on the ends of a brace. And now what I have been skirting over is this cradle. One of the straps there is undone, but this cradle that's used to carry the 2-gallon can, so the Vickers condenser can. It's one of actually the most awkward things to carry because all you have is this handle. So the Australians developed this cradle. Now it's something that we have seen in a Korean War photo. I don't think I've seen it in a Second World War photo. Interested to know if anybody has. And it probably wouldn't be worn, wouldn't be carried with a 2-gallon can with the funnel here. That would just fall out, but it certainly is another way of freeing up the hands so you can carry more equipment. Probably nothing more to say on the rear of the soldier here. You can just see the back of the boots, and you can see the weight of that cleat there. So yeah, Australian late Second World War stylised example. Likes the 2nd Machine Gun Battalion, 2nd, 1st, 7th, all those different machine gun battalions of the Australian forces, as well as, of course, the infantry battalions themselves retaining machine gun platoons. So they had a lot of Vickers machine guns to play with. This is just some of that Australian equipment that we've got. And then I'll just finish off by sharing an example of the Australian waterproof wax vestas, the matches. So we've got the striker on the back there. This often just lives in one of the pockets, one of the pouches. Now, hopefully I can open this up without putting matches all over the floor, because it is full. Come on. Gently, gently. And you can see in there half matches. Look at that. Bell's waterproof plied vestas. little half-length waterproof matches made in Australia. Really nice little item in the collection, and this just lives in one of the pockets of the mannequin. So hopefully that was of interest. We'll try and do some more Australian stuff as always, as you know, the only other country to make the Vickers in huge quantities, or large quantities anyway. Really pleased to have some of this stuff in the collection. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like and share the video and subscribe to the channel. Please support us on Patreon if you're able to, and let us know of anything you'd like to see in the future. I look forward to hearing from you.